Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our second session of the day of the ACTEA Annual Leadership Conference. We are going to have virtual to in-person marketing and everything in between. The benefits of comprehensive marketing with CTE Outreach Coordinator. It will be presented to us by Thomasine Graff, but before she begins, I'm going to do one thing. Go to the next slide and present you with a commercial.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ann Bogsted, and I'm here with RealityWorks and wanted to introduce you to us if you aren't familiar. We are a partner in education, and we develop skills training tools for CTE pathways to help students explore careers, develop their skills, technical and soft skills, and help them get on a pathway for the high-wage, high-demand careers in your area. We know that every district is a little different, and one area may focus on a specific pathway where another district may be focusing on something completely different. And we do have a variety of pathway programs. We focus on health sciences, child development, culinary, agriculture education, welding and construction, as well as employability and leadership skills. And our skills training tools, many are very hands-on. Some are wearable so that students actually experience what it may be like to be a patient in the health sciences world. We also have the assessments that are included with many of our products. So they can be used in workstations in a classroom where students can work through the hands-on skills training, getting immediate feedback on their skill and their progress. Teachers can access some of that data afterwards. So they're a great way to have stations set up for social distancing if needed, or virtual education, or right in the classroom. They're a great tool. Many students sign up for the classes with our products because they want to take our babies home, for example. We have many that want to try out our bovine breeder and see what that's like. Welding, virtual welding education. You know, all of our products are very safe because most are simulation based. For that career exploration, and then great tools that you can even take out to your community to help show your parents or your community and industry what you're doing in your programs to help with the CTE goals. My goal is to help you evaluate our products. So if you'd like to learn more, we could set up a virtual meeting or a phone call or possibly in person. And please go to our website. We do have a lot of free webinars. We like to give resources to our educators that they can use today. So lots of lesson plans and ideas on tips and tricks for teaching, especially in a virtual world or right in classroom. And then also some testimonials and webinars from our educators that can share what's working for them to help you and your educators. And we also have some free career exploration curriculum that's available for you as well. We do fit middle school, high school, and post-secondary levels. So please take a look and let us know if we can help you learn a little bit more about our products to see if they are a good fit for you. My name again is Ann Bogsted, and thank you so much for your time today. Have a great day.
I'm going to stop the share and turn it into the hands of Tammy Graff. Tammy, welcome, and thank you for being here with us.
Well, thank you very much. And welcome, everyone. Hello. I hope you're having a good morning. It's a little cold over here in Olean, New York, but hopefully it's going to get warmer today and then warmer during the week. And I hope you guys are finding some warm as well, because it's been a cold spring so far. I encourage you to ask questions as I go along. I'll be addressing questions at the end as well, but please ask questions and stop me anytime. I'll run something in the chat. I'm fine. Everybody can hear me, right? We're all good? Okay. All right. So my name is Thomasine Graff, as our introductory spokesperson had said. I am the CTE Outreach Coordinator for CA BOCES, Career and Technical Education, and I'm responsible for outreach for 3 of our career and technical education centers. We have 22 component school districts that we serve, each separate and in the different locations of our CTE centers. Just a little bit of information about my background. I am a seasoned communication professional. I like to use the word seasoned only because it's better than old. So I've been working for a long time in communications, marketing, public relations. I've worked for higher education. I've worked for private industry, and now for CA BOCES. I've been at CA BOCES for quite a few years, but in the position of outreach coordinator for 6. So just to give you an idea of how it all started, I began my career at BOCES in the communications division. And I would see a lot of publications fly across my desk from different classes, from different teachers, from different administrators. And they're all from CTE, but they all had different messages. There was really not a lot of consistency in their message. So I try to help, and I would go to the director at CTE at that time, and I'd say, hey, you need me to help you with some things, because I really think I can see where you could use a little bit of communications help. And the director said, sure. She put me on the faculty marketing committee, where I learned a lot more. I really didn't have a good grasp of CTE at this point. I just saw what was coming across my desk, and trying to help here and there. But then I noticed that there were faculty, there were administrators, there were counselors, all trying to get their message across while they were doing their full-time job. It was amazing to me in the first place that they could do all that. But I could see where the messages just weren't consistent because they couldn't be. It was impossible to do their job and then everything else. And at that time, there were 2 part-time retired faculty members who were running the tours, bringing in students from the component school districts, and also working on work-based learning. And so when those 2 retired teachers decided to retire, which God love them, the director at the time decided to make that a full-time position, to do outreach full-time. So that person would be responsible for tours, would be responsible for publications, everything that would revolve around outreach. So I applied for that position, and here I am 6 years later. So I think it was a very awesome decision that director made, because I think this position, if you haven't got it in any of your CTE organizations, I would encourage you to do that, because I think it makes a huge difference. And it also relieves a lot of pressure off of the people that are trying to piece together all kinds of things to create that outreach. So today, my goal in this presentation is to basically tell you what I've done with this job. I'm sure everyone else has their own way of doing things, but I'm just going to kind of give you my idea and from my experience, how I think this position is working. And if you have any help for me, I am such a good proponent of sharing. Sharing, I think, is the way we all learn better. Our jobs are better. Okay, so before we begin, though, I'd like to do a little poll. So Jamie, if you could help me out with the first poll. I wanted to ask everyone here, what position supports CTE marketing efforts in your organization? And I have some suggestions on where I've seen it. So if you could help me out and fill in the poll. Wonderful, wonderful.
Tammy, are you seeing the results on your end?
Yes, I am.
Perfect.
I see a lot of other. That's interesting. I'd like to know what the other is. Very good, very good. So for those of you that have other, in the chat at some point, if you could just type in what the position is that supports the CTE marketing efforts, I would really appreciate that, just to kind of have a good overview. Principal, coordinator, thank you. Outreach coordinator, thank you. Very good. Program administrator, outreach specialist, yeah. Student services, principal, administrators, very good. Oh, it's nice to see all of these outreach coordinators. I'm so excited. Well, all of you that are here as outreach coordinators or know of your outreach, what your outreach coordinators do, at any point, just kind of say, hey, we do this, or we do this better, or we do this. I would love to hear it. So I think we're good with the polls. All right, the second part of that question is, for those positions that you had mentioned support the CTE marketing efforts, if you could give me an idea of percentage, that would be the next poll, Jamie. The percentage of that position that supports marketing efforts. So it would be, I'm looking at 100%, 50%, 25%, or less than 25. If you could put that into your answers, I would totally appreciate it. Excellent, very good. Awesome. That's 100%. That's wonderful. Social media is daily work. Yes, it is. Graphics is seasonal. It does vary throughout the years. Yes, the year. All right. Well, looks like we have a lot of 25% and a lot of 100%. That's good. Okay, that was just so we kind of get an idea of where we all are right now, so we can. I don't want to be too redundant in anything that I say or deliver to you, so we can just carry on at this point. I think we're good with the polls, Jamie, for this part right here. I'm going to share my screen right now. So I have a little slideshow and some videos to show you. Okay, so I think we're good to go. All right, so initially as CTE outreach coordinator, I really wasn't familiar with CTE at all. I needed to learn a lot more. So my first step was in collecting some data. So in collecting data, I talked to students, I talked to faculty, I talked to administrators, and from the faculty, I also got some of their key alumni and also made contact with the alumni. And then I also was able to talk to other CTE organizations as well. From that point, I established target audiences that we needed to reach. We needed to hear that outreach. We needed to establish messages for each of those target audiences. So I then began creating marketing strategies for each of those audiences, and then developed relationships with those key audiences as well. The in-person, you know, let's get to know each other so that you trust me, I trust you, and we can move on with this. So the first thing in terms of data collection, I conducted student focus groups in each of our centers. I asked for the quintessential CTE student to come and join me. So the faculty would share their students with me, ask them a number of different questions because I wanted to clear up what were misperceptions and what were the facts. So through those focus groups, one of the questions I asked for, what are the perceptions of BOCES CTE you have encountered from individuals outside of CTE? And 74% made reference to negative perceptions of CTE or BOCES. And I kind of knew that that was going to be shared because in my own experience, that was always a negative perception was of BOCES of CTE. And I'm going to go full disclosure right here. I had in the communications department, my son at the time was in high school. He showed interest in attending CTE, and him and his buddies all wanted to join in some class in CTE, and I told him I think he should stay back at his home school. The worst decision I could have made after I have learned so much about CTE. So full disclosure, that's where I'm coming from, and totally changed my mind on what I learned. So some of the negative responses I've heard from the students in the focus groups. Teachers in my homeschool think it's a cop-out to go here because we don't have to take math or ELA, but we do. My guidance counselor tried talking me out of going, said it was narrowing my path of what I could do. And I'm sure you have heard all of this stuff. But the guidance counselor thing was a major, that was an ongoing message I was hearing. And I also found out through our alumni what was happening. And I have a message from one of the alumni. She actually created this for me. And I wanted to share it with you because I just think it was so compelling.
My name is Kristen Acomchuk, and I'm the Director of Operations at VideoLink in Newton, Massachusetts. I graduated from the radio and television program in 2001. I initially decided to, explore the idea of going to take a CTE class back in 1999. I went and visited a friend who was in the class, and just, getting a tour of the place. They had some really cutting edge technology back then. They got editing computers. It went from linear to nonlinear, and that was really exciting. But what I really liked about it was a chance for me to kind of figure out where I wanted to go. I had a general idea that I wanted to go into television, but I wasn't super sure because my school didn't have anything that would allow me to explore that. So I was just taking my regular core curriculum classes. So when the opportunity came to go, I was like, well, what do I have to lose? I could go there for 2 years and kind of explore, feel it out, learn about radio, learn about public speaking, or I could just finish my core curriculum and then go try that in college and spend some of my own money on it. So ultimately, I ended up going to my guidance counselor, and the first thing she said to me was, no, that's not a good idea. You shouldn't do that. You're an honors student. You're going to graduate with a Regents diploma. You're National Honor Society. This isn't the path for you. And I was like, well, I think it is, and gave those reasons. And she's like, well, you're not going to graduate with a Regents then. And I was like, well, actually, no, I am. I've done the research. I've got plenty of credits. I've passed all the exams, and I can make this work. It just maybe means no study halls and things like that. I'm going to have to work my butt off, but I can do it. And so I did. And it turned out to great effect. I took those 2 years. I ended up going to college and pursuing TV. And I felt like I was already ahead of the game. There was plenty of students coming in who had no experience. And I felt like I at least got a leg up my freshman year. I was going through my introductory classes, and I knew already what they were talking about.
So that was an ongoing message. It's 1999. And I'm going to share with you something a little later that was just taken last year. So in that data collection, here's some more not so good things. The students were sharing that they, meaning their fellow students, their teachers, their counselors, their administrators, think that if you're going to BOCES, you're going to be lazy. But I do way more at BOCES than I do at my homeschool. They think it just gets you out of school. So on to the positives. I wanted to find out what these kids love about CTE. Every day I walk into BOCES and I think this is going to be a new opportunity. And I don't know about you, but I never said that in high school. So I thought that was pretty cool. I enjoy the freedom here. The teachers here expect that if you want to succeed, you'll do your work. They let you accept your own fate when it comes to doing your own work. And I love that individuality, things that they can't offer at the homeschool. I like the comfort level here. There are things we do here that I wouldn't do at my homeschool. I feel like a different person. That last sentence, I just think it got to my heart. They come here and they feel like a different person. I like being around people who are interested in the same things you are. I feel this sets you up better for college and work. And that passion that these students feel and they share it just is totally like, okay, this is a good thing. So establishing target audiences. Number one on my list was guidance counselors. The guidance counselors, as probably most of you know, are the gatekeepers. They tell their students they're going or they're not going. They are the decision makers. So you have to have a very strong student in order to say, you know what, I am going to go. I just wanted to share another story with you of a student recently.
I want to go to CTE Center because my mom had gone to one, my grandparents both had, and my mom had worked at the Belmont Center when I was growing up. So I knew that somewhere along the line I was going to go just because it was something that always seemed like a lot of fun. And it was something that everyone else seemed to really enjoy and had a lot of success with. But I chose cosmetology specifically because my grandma had passed away before my 9th grade year, or during my 9th grade year, I knew that when I was doing my scheduling that's where I wanted to go because she had been in the cosmetology industry for 40 plus years and it was just something really important to her. How many BOCES we did during our regular scheduling prior to each grade, we go down and we discuss with our guidance counselor. And so just with my normal scheduling, I said I'm going to go and this is what I'm going to go for. It was a little bit tough. I've always had pretty high grades. Cosmetology requires so many hours in order to get your license. A lot of it was making sure that I was able to keep up with difficult classes and still do that. It was something they brought up a lot, was just, you shouldn't take this. You aren't even going to have the time to do it. And I'm going to have my 1,000 hours by Monday of next week. So I'm not really in a pinch. I'm not in this big predicament they said that I was going to be in for all those years. My teacher, she's so passionate about what she does and she makes it a lot of a really enjoyable thing to do, to come here and learn. I have a lot more fun here, honestly. I'm a lot more excited to learn. It's the type of fun where your teachers are really passionate about what they're teaching. Students around you are passionate about what they're learning. Kids want to be here and they're really happy about being here.
So I like to gather these stories and I like to use them in social media. I like to use them in presentations because I just think it's coming from the mouths of the people that are making these decisions and they're feeling so passionate and so confident about what they're doing. And so I feel that guidance counselors were like my number one in terms of trying to establish a good relationship with. So I meet with them individually all the time. I bring them in for committees. I bring them in for special events. And I just really feel that that's a relationship that has to be catered to. So the other target audiences, students, of course, students at the homeschool, students that are here at CTE, they're the decision makers. They're influenced by other people, but they do make the decision. Parents are the decision makers. Teachers and administrators are influencers. So the teachers can say to their student in their class, if the student says, I think I want to go to BOCES, I think I want to go to CTE, the teachers can say, you know what, I'm not sure if that's a good path for you. And they're saying that because they don't understand it. They're not fully aware of the benefits of CTE. The other target audience is community partners. They're also influencers. So Chamber of Commerce's, businesses in the area. We have a really great relationship with our Dream It, Do It organization, which basically we kind of look for the same, we're making aware of for the students that we serve. They are making aware of manufacturing in the area. They want to make sure that students will know that manufacturing isn't the old manufacturing and that there are a lot of jobs and they're ready for employees. So the Dream and Do It partnership, we get along together because we're serving the same audience and we have basically the same message. So in order to tackle these various target audiences, we have strategies for each and every audience. We use printed materials, we use in-person events, and of course, virtual. So for our printed materials, we still refer to catalogs. Our guidance counselors refer to catalogs. Our students refer to catalogs. We include also program brochures, and our students still use the program brochures. I bring them with me at every presentation, and they take them home for their parents. So printed materials are still around, and people still use them. Our catalog also separates out into program brochures, the same exact information in a trifold, very consistent looking. I make sure everything we have has consistency so they know that our brand and they know when they pick it up, oh yeah, this is from CTE. We developed a booklet, colleges with enrollment agreements, because our guidance counselors needed to know exactly what's involved in those enrollment agreements, excuse me, so that they can refer to that and say, look at it to the student. If you follow this, you're going to end up with college credits or an ease to get into that particular college. Also, we developed a booklet called Counselors and CSE Chairs Quick Reference Guide for Enrollment CTE-based programs. And the guidance counselors love this because it's basically a point-by-point directive of what is involved in that particular class. What are the expectations? So that those students aren't going in blindfolded. They know that there's some things that they have to do and they have to learn and they have to achieve even before getting to that class. And we also have banners for each of the classrooms. We use these for our tours. We use these for special events. They're door-sized banners, they're retractable, and they put them outside of their classrooms, and also sometimes even down the halls when we have visitors coming in. So you can have a really, really good idea of everything we offer and what's involved with it. In-person strategies for our in-person events. We have, I created a committee of student delegates. The faculty offer up 2 of their juniors, 2 of their seniors each year to help me. They spread the word. They are living proof of the wonder of what happens in CTE. These students come with me to presentations. They run our tours. They run our special events, and the relationship between when they basically walk down the hall with our students or they walk down the hall with our visitors, I mean, the engagement and the relationship is a wonderful indication of what CTE can do for a student. I can't tell you how they have benefited this outreach program for me. I just find them wonderful. So yes, I do go out to the schools and I make presentations. I bring my student delegates. I make presentations at other events that they would like more information about CTE. I am responsible for running all of the tours and with the student delegates' help, because basically I set it up. Student delegates will take the students where they need to go. So right now we're running 8th grade and sophomore tours. And we've done that forever, done that since I've been in the position, I've done that before that. So I, kind of looking at it in a more comprehensive approach, I've been wanting to change this approach because I feel as though coming in the 8th grade, skipping the 9th grade, coming in on the 10th grade, and then having to make a decision whether you're going to take a CTE class is just, I just don't think the students are at their best preparation for a career at that point. So I'd love to see 8th, 9th, and 10th, just a nice comprehensive look at CTE. And we're working on that now in a committee, and I'll explain that later. But at this point, Jamie, is there a way to put up our next poll? Because what I'd like to find out from everybody, and I think it's good information for me, it's good information for all of us to kind of share what we're doing. If you could put up the poll, I don't know if you can do it while we are screen sharing. Perfect. So the poll is, what grade levels tour your CTE centers? And I would like to know who you bring in. So if you could fill that out for me, I would totally appreciate that. And everybody brings in their 10th graders. Yes, beautiful. Some 9th graders, I'd like to see that. I'd like to know more information about that. A little bit of 7th grade, that's very good. Because I'm hearing more and more from guidance counselors that 7th grade is where to start. All right, very good. Okay, Jamie, could we put up the next poll as well? And this poll is, do you allow students to shadow CTE students for a full class period? Very good, very good. Okay, excellent, excellent. This is where I'd like to know more information because we're starting to look at the shadow of our sophomores and seeing that and how that would work out better. And I'll go over that a little bit more. Well, thank you very much, everyone. I really appreciate that information. Later, when we talk, we can talk more about it. Okay. So more of our in-person events. We hold something called a CTE experience, and this is our premier event. And I will tell you, we have gotten more great awareness through this particular event than anything we do. And even though we can only bring in small audiences at a time, that audience leaves with a better perception of what CTE is really about. They go back to the homeschool and they share that as well. So I just feel this is something that we do, and I'll explain this to you. We started out with guidance counselors, bringing them in. We assigned them to 3 different classes where the students would actually teach them a skill, and they would have to perform that skill back to the student and get feedback. So the guidance counselors come away with like, that student that's usually in my school does not act like that. I can't even believe it's the same person. They realize how confident these students are, the skill level they're learning. It totally changed their perception, because I don't know about you, but when the guidance counselors come in with their students for tours, they may walk around and see the tours, and they may stay in the conference room the whole time and get caught up on their work, but they do not experience CTE the way they experience for this event. So we've kind of progressed with this particular event. We've moved on from guidance counselors to try to attract teachers and administrators to this experience. We hold them at every single center once a year. We'd like to do it more. We'd like to even offer it up to other audiences as well. But right now we are still working with teachers, administrators. So what we do with it now is we offer it as a professional development opportunity for teachers and administrators. And we offer 3 CTE credits with it. And each year we change up the theme. This year it was coaching students as they decide what's next, so that those teachers that have our CTE students or prospective CTE students in their class, when they come to the event, they find out what these classes are about, and then they can go back and tell their students that maybe are asking them questions, yeah, this would be a great opportunity for you. This is a good pathway. I think you should try it, because I was pretty impressed with that particular class that I was in. So with the professional development opportunity, we start out with a little exercise to warm everybody up. So as you can see by the picture in the top right, we have someone lead that professional development experience. And that particular exercise is to kind of get an idea for all of the people coming in, what our students go through. They come from different schools, and they all meet together in a brand new experience. And so that's kind of a taste of what we do. And then we bring them into the classrooms, and our students will teach them the skills, and they perform that skill. And everyone comes away with like, wow, I just can't even believe what students are learning here. I mean, I have survey after survey of people just blown away from what they learned from this particular event. And so we will keep doing it. As I said, we'd like to try bringing prospective parents in. We'd like to try bringing in community members so that we can share this experience with everyone. I can't say enough good about this particular event. Other in-person events, of course, counselor meetings. We bring them into the centers. We bring them in as a group where they conduct their meetings, and we share out what we're doing. We've held a manufacturers summit with that partnership that we talked about, the Dream It, Do It. Those manufacturers came in, and they were the CEOs of all of those organizations came in. They talked about, we brought the counselors in to meet. It was basically a panel of manufacturers. The counselors sat back and were took in the information, asked questions. they talked about their organization, they talked about what they produce, they talked about the jobs that they have available, and they talked about the skill level that they need to perform those jobs, because manufacturing has changed. So knowing that, now the counselors can go back to their students and say, you know, there's an industry that does this, 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 and this. And if you take this course, or you go to college and you take this, you can end up as an employee of theirs, because they're starving for employees. They need people to fill these manufacturing jobs. And also I've established recently a tour committee of counselors, getting a range of counselors from all of our 3 centers to come in and talk about a new tour structure. What's going to best work for the pathway to bring our students a better understanding of what CTE is. So that's what we're coming up with. And I got that information from the polls, because this is what we're kind of looking at. We have to introduce this to our faculty and to our organization as a whole, but the tour committee of counselors have come up with this new structure. We'd like to have a 7th grade career fair, and I'd like to do that as a partnership with maybe some community events, maybe Dream to Do It. We want to bring all of the students from all of our component schools in for 8th grade tours, looking at only 3 classes. We want to bring them back in the 9th grade to look at possibly 2, maybe 3 classes, but only students that are interested in CTE, not everyone. And then the 10th grade, we'd like to offer up the shadow opportunity for students that maybe are on the fence, that need more information, to just sit in that classroom for an entire class period to get a good idea of what is involved. Because, you know, when you come in for tours, there's a dog and pony show, everybody's got them, but what is that class really about? So I think shadow is a great opportunity. So that's what we're looking at rolling out for next year. And of course, our Chamber of Commerce, we work tightly with them. We ask for volunteers with their members, and we've brought the chamber in. We've used it as a business after hours event where we would show the products of all of our CTE classes and kind of give them a tour of all the classrooms, and we've really enjoyed that opportunity. So moving on to our virtual strategies. Of course, our website would be number 1, and I just kind of wanted to show you our main page, and I apologize for not having it finished. We are just reworking all of our CTE pages right now, so we have to get pictures of our people. But basically, our main page would bring us to our main video, which is an introductory video for CTE, and we have videos for all of our programs, and they were produced by a videographer we hired with Perkins money. But I can't tell you how important it is to have really fine videos. And I just kind of wanted to show you our video to give you an idea of what I'm talking about.
When I graduate, I'd like to go to Jamestown to get a degree in media arts.
I want to go to Finger Lakes College and get a biology degree, and then go work for the DAC as a maintenance operator.
I want to go work for a heavy equipment shop.
Customs and Border Protection. I want to go to Canisius College to double major in graphic design and marketing. Hilbert College for 4 years in Brockport in Rochester.
I'm planning on going to JCC with the new Workforce Readiness Scholarship.
I plan to go to Alfred State for interior design to open my own business.
I'm going to.
Hey, Tammy, the video is not playing.
Major.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna major
Oh,
in
that's okay.
biology.
It might be a screen share thing where you just it might be on the wrong screen.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Common nerd.
Okay. Well, I'll have to show you that again. So, well, let me move on with our website. So our CTE courses page. So if you click on these pages, it will bring you to that particular program where there was a video of the program, all the information you need to know, as well as skill videos from our 3 centers so that you can see exactly what the classroom looks like and the skills they're performing in those centers. So the website is a huge virtual strategy of ours to bring students in to look at. Our counselors use it. They sit down with their students and have them go through the classes they're interested in. Moving on, our Alumni Alliance. I have created an Alumni Alliance. We're still gaining members. Our alumni register to get into our Alumni Alliance. And the reason I wanted to create an Alumni Alliance is to basically show the end product. This is where our kids go. This is what they do. They are contributing community members. They are employees, and their employment is incredible. So I wanted to show that. I've asked when our alumni register for the Alumni Alliance, I asked them level of involvement. Some want to be involved. They'd like to help out in whatever they can, whether it would be internships, whether it would be promotion, presentations, and most of them do say they would love to help. And they also share their success stories. So we have success stories on our website, and we're now working on a new program. We're going to have a spotlight. We're going to have our alumni come in to each of our centers and show our students and our future students what they do, as well as we're going to have a new display in each of our centers featuring alumni success stories. So I'm really excited about that, because I just think alumni are, this is our answer. This is what happens when they take a CTE course and they're successful and they love what they do. Also virtually, last year, pandemic, we couldn't go anywhere. Our students couldn't go visit. Students couldn't come in to see us. So what happens? We have a bunch of sophomores who have to make a decision if they want to attend CTE. And they weren't there in their 9th grade. The only thing they remember is the 8th grade. So it's like, oh, wow, how do we show off? How do we bring awareness to what CTE is all about? So I created this virtual career exploration program, and it's basically a package. And I handed it to our guidance counselors and said, look, here's what you need to do in order to, if you'd like to share out and create awareness. So I will kind of show you what that looked like. So the students would register in the career exploration program. They'd go to a part 1, which is we'd ask them to go to a virtualjobshadow.com website that we contract with for our students, but I used it basically only for interest surveys and looking at different careers. So when they were asked questions, they would fill out the answers on this career exploration website. All of these answers were, the data was collected into an Excel spreadsheet. So all of the answers would be given back to the counselors so that they know that what their students were looking at and what they were interested in. Then in part 2 of the career exploration, it was basically all about CTE. So they were able to look at the introductory video and then go through our different programs, answer questions. And then finally, there was a career exploration professional discussion board. So when we talked about alumni being a partner and also community partnerships, I was able to get our alumni, as well as through the Chamber of Commerce and through our Dream It, Do It organization, all of these employees at different industries, organizations, where our alumni are, as well as our community members are. So they were also, all of these positions were related directly to our programs. And they are positions that our programs, that our students could obviously find themselves in a job eventually. So what they would do is, say we had a student who was interested in being a groomer. So it's a student who's thinking about attending our animal science program. So they would go to Alicia Gross and they would click on her name, and they would be sent to her basically her email address, and a question would pop up and it would say, you know, Alicia or Ms. Gross, tell me what's involved in being a groomer. What do I need to know? And so Alicia would get that email, she'd deliver her answer, and that answer would be delivered back to the student's email address. So there would be this back and forth with either an alum or a community member, a Dream It, Do It organization, and they would basically send the answers back. So, and then a connection is made with that employer, which is wonderful. They can come back to that person. Maybe an internship's available, maybe eventually a job. And all of these people who have signed up for this, they would write back and tell me that it was wonderful. The students were very polite, they were very direct, and they enjoyed it. And when I would ask them if they wanted to keep their name on this professional discussion board, they're like, absolutely, we've really enjoyed this experience. So that worked out very well. And also all of this information would be sent back to the guidance counselor saying, this is what your student, this is what they were able to partake in, and these are the answers that they gave. So it worked out really well, especially during the pandemic. And also, I am letting this be for the guidance counselors. They could use it for the 9th graders that haven't had any awareness at all with CTE. So more virtual strategies. I send out a monthly e-brief to all of our school districts, to our teachers, our administrators, excuse me, our counselors. And it goes right to their email once a month, introducing new programs. I'm sorry, excuse me. Looking at programs that we have, important data, notable data, and also information from our 3 principals. Also, we work with our PR director. She handles all of our social media. So everything I send her way, she posts. Facebook, excuse me, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Okay, I'm drying out. All right, so that explains virtual. I'm going to stop my share. Anyone have any questions?
Tammy, what does it look like when you go out to a district? What does that presentation look like? What is the format that you have? I know that you said you do some student ambassadors that bring with you, but I think we all kind of have a different format on when we go out. But I'm just curious to see, what most people would do when they are able to get into districts.
Yes, so usually I would be in a kind of an auditorium setting. I ask for screens and video, and I share video that you couldn't see. Excuse me, our introductory video. I share that. The students watch that, and then I have my student delegates come up and present information about CTE, about their class. They take questions. And then at that point, I like them to select 3 classes that they're going to come and tour. So what I have, actually our programmers here at Cte Courses, they're wonderful. The students all bring their laptops or some type of device, and they log into our website, and it's basically a registration. So they're given 3 columns of all of our programs, and they select 3 for one for each session. I pass out, actually, let me go back. I ask them to come up and collect brochures, all of our program brochures up front, and they collect all the brochures they're interested in. And so they can go back and they can read them and get a better idea of what programs we offer. And then they go ahead and they register for the 3 that they're interested in. And then they ask questions. And that takes up that's like a 40-minute session that I get from each of the school districts.
How long is your marketing video?
6 minutes.
About 6 minutes. Okay. So, one of the questions, so we're in the process of looking at our marketing video and just the format of it. So can you share your marketing video in the chat, the link to it, so we can just click on it?
Yes, I will.
So we redid our marketing video in the beginning of the year, and then all the students wearing masks. Now we have no masks, so we have to, restream that and change it up a little bit. So it's interesting just to see how that's changed, but
Yeah, I totally understand that. Yeah, now that we're able to come back in, it's thank God. That's all I got to say. Hold on.
Yeah. I think just when we get into the districts, we frame that conversation with, thanks, Rob, I appreciate it. We frame the conversation as like this being a piece of their success and what success looks like for them individually and whether this is a component of it. That's actually what we started doing, framing it out, because at HFM CT, I'm the one that goes out and talks to the districts with our coordinator, and it's interesting to see students reflect in the middle of the presentation on like if this could be a piece of their future success. So I'm interested to see what everyone else puts out there.
Yeah, if anyone would like to share, that would be great. I'm trying to type in. There we go. Hold on.
Hello.
Yes.
Oh. I hit Rob's and it said hello in the beginning. I just cut and pasted his.
All right, I wanted to type in. Can I cut and paste this? There we go. So I just pasted in our website address with the video where the video shows.
Thank you, Tammy.
Sorry it took so long.
No, it's okay.
Any other questions? I'd like to know what everybody else does. I see a lot of outreach coordinators here. What would be really awesome for all of us outreach coordinators to be able to get together and have our own little group we could share. I think that would be a great idea. Does everyone else think that that would be a possibility?
I would love that. I just think if we could have some consistency, because I think we all struggle with the same things that, people still refer to us as VOTEC or VOCEs or not identifying us as CTE. So, and even now when we have CTE, if you Google CTE, it's a traumatic brain injury. So, so we're not definitely identified as who we are and what we put out there. And not that VOTEC was ever a negative thing, but I think that we've, kind of advanced, beyond what our traditional mindset was in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, where we have the articulation agreements, we have, those integrated academics, we're held to a rigor every 5 years. And I think when we take a look at that and we help people understand our process, even if we're receiving our Perkins funding, all of us went through the CLNA and it's rigorous. There's a deep dive into what we do on a daily basis. So a lot of our components and our counselors and our people that we talk to, they don't understand who we are, what we do. And in the last presentation, emphasize that too, just that the educators in the region don't know what we do on a daily basis here. And I think that's definitely something that I think that we could do statewide to really have a common message that comes out from all of us, and really, through ACTEA, I think that's definitely something that we can, continue to push for.
We tried that a few years back with that whole CTE Strong video series put out by what's the company that people use?
Edge Factor.
Edge Factor. And as much as we wanted to have that one common message, again, when you have all these different districts from all different BOCES or districts, CTE programs from across the state, that really doesn't represent our population. I remember some of my directors concerned about the number of people with tattoos in the video, and that was what got their attention. I still battle here because I have 3 different tech centers. the auto teachers on one end want their shop featured, and then if you feature them, then the auto teachers on the other side, they don't
Right.
like it. So that while I agree with you, it'd be cool if we had common messaging. One video fits all, one size fits all.
Yeah, and I don't
doesn't
think,
always fit.
yeah, and I don't think the one video for everyone, Rob. I think that we are all in it for student success. And what does success look like for students on a CTE path? And how can students sample their career and success in the future through us?
Yes.
Before they put themselves out there in the world, because we're that opportunity where we can offer the forgiveness and we can offer those career paths and we can offer those things. When we looked at our personal CLA data for HFM, 81% of our students decided that they wanted to go into the career path they chose with us, and 19% of the students said, no, this isn't what I want to do. Those numbers are fantastic, because that means 81% of their kids found their success with us, and 18% of the kids figured out that, hey, or 19% of the kids figured out, hey, this isn't what I want to do. And I say in all of our marketing campaigns, I know medical assisting or anything in the medical field is not in my wheelhouse. I have a terrible gag reflex and I don't want to deal with any of that. So I know that in my path of success, it's not going to be that. So I think when we have those conversations or what we use as the common language, I think that can be something that we do to emphasize, CTE in New York State.
Yes.
Because the common video isn't going to work, because we all want to showcase, we all want to showcase our centers and the cool things that we do. So, in Tammy's center, she may have some crazy things in her medical assistant class, or I might have, that dummy that breathes, that's an investment that we made last year. But those are things that we want to showcase. And I think when we personalize it to us, I think that's good. But I think that message of, student success and opportunity and, finding your path is big, especially now when we saw last year a dip in our post-secondary enrollment. Kids decided not to go to college last year, and we had more kids that went into their career paths that they tried out with us than ever before. So I think that's, those are those reflective pieces that can be that ongoing conversation.
Yes. Could I have everyone who would be interested in meeting as a group, outreach group, put in their email in the chat? Because I think I would love that. I'd love if we could be able to get together at some point. Thank you. Yeah, and I agree with you. We're very rural. So a lot of things that are going to work for someone who's, has more of a metropolitan base is definitely, it's going to work differently for us. So, but just the common things that the way we approach the processes we have, I think it's valuable to share.
Yep. And what Rob sees down in Long Island is going to be different than what I see in the Adirondacks. So the opportunities of student, engagement in different capacities looks different too. This is why those bigger conversations of the work-based learning and, what technical assessments we're using, what post-credentials we have. We could offer a new layer of I don't want to use the word consistency, but I want to use, the equal opportunities that could exist everywhere for what you're doing at your center, Tammy, to what Rob's doing at his, to what Rob Harris is doing at his, to what Michelle Friedman's doing at CV Tech. If we could use those tools and kind of create that network of, hey, this worked for me, why don't you take a swing at it? And then if it does, great. If it doesn't, we go back to the drawing board. We're a living, we're a living organization here, and CTE is constantly evolving, and that's proof with our every 5 years where we identify how we've changed. So, those are things that just my thoughts.
No, I like it. Even for our tours alone, I would love to know, let's all develop a really cool format of how we tour. I think we've just been doing things the way we've done them for so long. We need to reevaluate.
I agree.
Anyone else, any questions, comments, something I'm missing?
No, this is great.
All right, well, thank you so much, everybody. I'm glad we have our email addresses. We need to stay in touch. I think this is going to be wonderful.
Thanks, Tammy. Thanks, everyone. Have a great afternoon.
You too.